Good morning, leaders. We are the Group 4 and our report is on Lesson 11 about on teaching timbre and Lesson 12 on musical content on harmony and texture. In music, timbre, also known as tone color or tone quality, is the perceived sound quality of a musical note, sound, or tone. Timbre distinguishes different types of sound production such as choir voices and musical instruments. It is also enable listeners to distinguish different instruments in the same category. Points to ponder when teaching timbre. The following are several questions that our elementary music teacher has to think before teaching lessons pertaining to timbre. So number one is, how do I teach the difference between speaking and singing? For grade 1, so one activity that you may do is to find an example of a song based on a poem. A good example would be the nursery rhyme songs like Humpty Dumpty. Let the students recite it first as a poem, then afterward, let them sing it as a song. Afterward, you may ask them to describe the similarities and the difference between speaking and singing, such as the construction of phrases and sentences, and how they are delivered when singing and when speaking. Number 2 is, how do I teach different qualities of sound for grade 1 to 3? Choose an easy song that the students are familiar with. Ask one student to sing is a small part of a song. Afterward, ask another student, then another to sing the same part of that song. While each student sings, instruct the entire class to listen and to compare the qualities of the voices of each of their classmates who sang the song. Another activity that you may use is to play a recording of different sounds found in the environment. As you play each track or recordings, let the student guess what it is. It can be the sound of an animal, a thing, a person, or an event. You may also ask them to draw or create a visual representation of the sound they heard. If crayons are available, let them color it as well. After that, let them present their artworks to the class. This can be called a listening game. Next is number 3. How do I present the topic about different musical instruments for grade 4 to grade 6? As always, when introducing musical instrument to the class, ideally the teacher has to prepare audio recordings along with visuals or pictures of the instruments being taught. Play the recordings frequently so that the students can take note of the difference between the instruments. Number 4. How do I teach them about the difference between ACTB or the soprano, the alto, the tenor, and the bass voices? That is for grade 5. Recordings may be used to differentiate these voice classifications. If the teacher can find an audio or a video recording, do the same procedure to differentiate between tenor and bass voices. Afterward, the teacher may use a recording of a full SATB choir for the students to listen to.
Musical content on harmony and texture. Harmony is the most common term used by musicians to refer to the simultaneous sounding of musical notes sounding together in time. For grade 4, simultaneously sounding of two tones to pitches is a fundamental concept in music known as harmony. In a basic sense, harmony occurs when two or more notes are played or sung together, creating a pleasant or meaningful sound. For grade 5, Introduction to the Major Triads. A triad consists of three notes stuck in a consecutive thirds. A triad is also called a chord, as well as harmony. Harmony also refers to chord progressions. The lowest note of a triad when it's stuck in the thirds is called the root. The middle note is the third and the highest note of the triad is the fifth. For grade 6, primary chords. The primary chords or primary triads usually refer to the three major chords built on the tonic, subdominant, and dominant degrees of a diatonic scale. Harmony in a group performance. Harmony in group performance refers to the synchronized and coordinated blending of musical elements, particularly voices or instruments, to create a pleasing and a unified sound. Texture. In music, texture is the way the melodic, rhythmic, and harmonic materials are combined in a composition, thus determining the overall quality of sound. Texture is often described in regards to the density or thickness and the range or width between lowest and highest pitches in relative terms, as well as more specifically distinguished according to the number of voices or parts and the relationship between these voices. For grade 1 and 2, thickness and thinness in music. Thickness in music refers to the degree of complexity and the number of simultaneous sound or layers in the musical texture. A thick texture involves multiple voices or instruments playing at the same time, creating a rich and full sound. Chords, harmonies, and multiple melodic lines contribute to the overall thickness. Thinness in music pertains to the simpler and less dense texture with fewer simultaneous sounds. A thin texture involves fewer voices or instruments, resulting in a more transparent and per sound. It may have a single melody line or a limited number of elements, contributing to the overall musical composition. For grade 3, same content as grade 1 and 2 with the addition of two-part sounds and partner songs. For grade 4, difference between ostinato and discant. Ostinato refers to a repeated musical pattern, phrase, melodic, and rhythmic figure. This repetition can occur in various voices or instruments throughout the section or entire piece of music. Ostinatos provide a stable and recurring foundation in a composition. They can be found in melodies, harmonies, or rhythmic patterns, and are often used to create a sense of community, drive, or a distinctive musical motif. Discant has two related meanings in music. It can refer to a higher melody song or played above a main melody often providing a contrasting or embellishing lines. Discant can also refer to a type of harmonization. typically added above an existing melody. These cants add a layer of a complexity to the musical texture. In a choral music, a discant might involve a higher vocal part, singing a different melody than the main choir. In instrumental music, the discant may be additional melody played by the instrument alongside the main melody. For grade 5, densities of musical sound. 3-part vocal or instrumental texture. 3-part vocal or instrumental texture refers to the music that involves 3 distinct voices or instrumental parts performing simultaneously. This creates a layered and harmonically rich sound. 3-part round songs. A 3-part round songs, also known as a 3-part canon, involves 3 distinct vocal lines or instrumental parts that start at different types, but harmonize to create a unified sounds. Rounds are a type of musical composition where each voice or part sings or plays the same melody, beginning at different times. For grade 6, variation in texture. Monophony is a musical texture characterized by a single accompanied melodic line. In monophonic music, there is only one voice or instrument playing a single melody without any harmonies or accompaniment. Polyphony is a musical texture characterized by a simultaneous combination of 2 or more independent melodies. Each melody's line in polymonic operates independently, creating a complex and harmonically rich musical texture. Homophony. Homophony is a musical texture characterized by the single dominant melody accompanied by the chords or harmonies. In monophonic music, all voices or instruments move together rhythmically, the harmonically to support the primary melody.
Consonants and dissonants are 2 types of harmonic intervals. Consonants basically sound stable and do not require resolution. Dissonants, on the other hand, sounds unresolved and somehow hanging, and therefore they need to resolve to a consonance. The consonants intervals are the following: a unison same 2 notes played together. Perfect prime is also called a unison. It is a 2 notes that are the same pitch. A perfect octave is the same note. An octave 12 half steps. Fifth or perfect, and a perfect fifth often abbreviated 5 span, 7 semitone. Ang fifth perfect is merong 5 spans and 7 semitone. Octave 8. The 8 notes on the musical scale are called the octatonic dimensions. The scale from bottom to top, these are the 8 notes of the octave on C scale. The notes from lower to higher would be C, D, E, F, G, and A, B, C. The major and minor sixth. Major and minor thirds. Hatiin sa ABC is a third semitone. Halin sa A na letter hanggang sa C is a third semitone. Then the dissonance interval are the following: major and minor second semitone. C to D a whole steps major. Halin naman sa C to D that we have a second semitone. Minor and major sevenths. Major sevenths are built from a major triads, while minor sevenths are built from a minor triads.
I am Darlene Marie Tamayo. I am the reporter of chords and triads. A chord is a group of 3 or more notes played together. Triads are specific types of chords containing 3 notes stacked in thirds. The basic triad consists of a root note, a third above the root, and a fifth above the root. Triads form the foundation of harmony in Western music and come in different qualities such as major and minor. They play a crucial role in shaping the overall sound and mood of a musical piece. So a major triad consists of 3 notes. A, which is the root, and C number, it is a major third above the root, and E, a perfect fifth above the root. The formula of a major triad is root, major third, and perfect fifth. In the case of A major, it creates a bright and happy sound. On the other hand, a C minor triad includes C, which is the root, EB, which is the minor third above the root, and G, a perfect fifth above the root. So the formula of a minor triad is root, minor third, and perfect fifth. So this gives the C minor triad a somewhat somber or melancholic quality compared to the major triad.
Primary triad are the most commonly used chords in Western tonal music. Many popular songs are built around these 3 triads. In the image above, we see a series of chords set on C major. The triads inside the boxes are the primary triads. The first one is C major, is called the tonic. The first scale degree, it is represented by a capital Roman letter I because it's quality major. Triads that have a minor quality are written with small letter of Roman letters. The fourth triad, F major, is called the subdominant, while the fifth triad is letter G major, is called dominant.
So good morning, this is Lara May Esotelo and this is the continuation of our report. So the texture. Texture means it refers to the blending and manipulating of different sounds and melodic lines happening simultaneously in music. So the idea is derived from textiles, which are sometimes made up of several component threads woven together, while melody is realized in the horizontal dimension of music. So the texture, so ito yung naga-create ng layer of sounds. So ito yung number of sounds na tumutukoy sa boses ng tao or musical instrument na maririnig natin sa isang musical performances. So For example, is the singing of national anthem in a cappella. So, mostly, maririnig natin ito sa fight ni Manny Pacquiao. So, the others naman is they are performed with an accompaniment. For example, is the guitar, the piano, the etc. Then, the others naman is lalong-lalo na sa choir, is hinahati-hati nila yung voice. Iba yung nagsisilbing bass, iba yung nagsisilbing melodiya, then iba na naman yung nagse-second voice. So, marami tayong naririnig na mga boses. Then, the second one is the descent. So, sa descent naman is, in music, descent can have more than one meaning. Generally, in a descent is the highest voice in a composition. So, sa descent naman is, kadalasan, maririnig natin ito sa choir, sa simbahan. Yung voice yung nagsisilbing pam param pam pam. Then, yung girls naman is yung nagsisilbing melodiya. So, kapag pinagsama-sama natin ito is makakabuo tayo ng descent. So, let's proceed to the variation of texture. So, the first one is the monophony. So, monophony is music that consists only of one single melodic line without any background support or accompaniment. So, yung mono means one. Then, yung phony is to sound. So, one sound. So, the monophony is one sound only. So, parang itong, for example, is the singing of our Lupang Hinirang in a cappella. So, singing of our national anthem in mostly is maririnig natin ito sa fight ni Manny Pacquiao is isang boses lamang ng isang tao ang maririnig natin. So, walang halong accompaniment or walang nagsisilbing melodiya, is only one sound lamang yung umaawit. And the second one is the polyphonic. So, the polyphonic in music that consists of several melodic lines. So the polyphonic is, ito yung pinakamakapal na texture. So, ang daming sounds na maririnig. Minsan di mo na alam kung saan ang boses ng bass, saan yung melody, and etc. Then, the last one is the homophony. So, ito yung texture wherein one melodic lines. So, ito yung, yung melody with harmonic accompaniment. So, for example, is the singing of our national anthem. So, while singing of our national anthem, is ginagamitan ito ng mga accompaniment like guitar. So, for example, let's sing our Lupang Hinirang. So, I will use the guitar, then you will sing. So, while I am playing the guitar, ikaw yung magsisilbing, ikaw yung mag-aawit. So, for example, bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa titip mo'y buhay. Then, that's all.